I don't want to go to court because it's going to make her unhappy. Cause I'm going to ain't going to be I'm not getting no public defender. You feel me? I don't want to do that.
Satan, the devil, I cannot imagine to tell you why someone would hurt a child.
The child's father, Michael Garrett, says his daughter had been abused over and over again by her mother. He and other family members reported the abuse to Cuyahoga County Children and Family Services on a number of occasions. And at the time of Anaya's death, he was fighting for emergency custody.
What's going on with y'all, family? Check me out, man. I'm about to drop a clip of DDG speaking on why he does not want to go to court to be a part of his child's life. And then I'll come back with the commentary.
I want to is because it's going to get extremely messy and it don't have to happen. And it's going to get to a point where, nigga, it ain't no way. Appreciate that fire gifted, Cardi. But it ain't going to go how I think it's in like her best interest to not want to go to court either. When we can just have a clear understanding. All right, cool. Like I want to pick my son up, take him to dinner. If you really want him, I'll bring him right back. It's not a problem. We go to court, the judge gonna give me some time. And when I got the time, nigga, I'm gonna do whatever I want with my son. When y'all see me streaming with girls and shit, y'all don't never see my son around, do you? I would never do that. Ever. My content has nothing to do with me being a father. I purposely separate him from any of that. Y'all would never see any, like I don't give a fuck if I'm dating a girl. You're not meeting my son. That's just how I am. That's disrespectful. I would never let that happen. So I always separate him from that. But I don't want to go to court because it's going to make her unhappy. Cause I'm ain't gonna be I'm not getting no public defender. You feel me? I don't want to do that. And then the judge be like, we see, nigga, you a great ass dad. We never see this from black folks. This is a rarity. Get this nigga the whole summer. Now what?
Now you all just heard DDG explain why he doesn't want to go to court to be a part of his child's life, and he's explaining all that comes with it, etc. In his mind, he feels like he can control the narrative. That's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of black men make. They feel like, well, I know my baby mama, wife, whatever, that woman you had that child with, you feel like you know her and you can still control this out of court, when all of the evidence points to that this road, this journey that you want to take outside of court will be much more of a hassle, much more of a turmoil if you had just, I hate to say it, roll up your sleeves and go to court. A lot of people, black men that is, have reasons why they don't want to take it to court. Maybe they don't have lawyer money, but leave it to y'all, you have money for everything else. Look, I dropped a video that I want to play while I was outside of some of my children's primary care physician's office. And this is not on the mic, so bear with me. It was on my phone. I just had to record it in that moment about the issues of black men saying they can't see their children. But on the other side, the question that always comes to mind for me is, what are you doing? And keep in mind, I feel what my brothers are going through, but in my own journey, I know what I had to do to be in my child's lives. And by the grace of God, I've been a day one father. I'm not a visitation father or weekend father. I'm an everyday father, full custody. So bear with me and listen to this video.
Reset TV, trying to knock out these videos, man. Feels good. It's a good day, man. Hope it's a good day for y'all, man. I'm feeling so good, man. When they say health is wealth, whew, understatement. That's all I'm gonna say for now. But I feel good, and I hope y'all find a way to feel like how I feel. But you know, doing this YouTube thing is very therapeutic. I don't make any real money on YouTube. I'm monetized, but back and forth throughout YouTube, it's a whole lot of like trying to learn the rules or whatever. So I knew once I got in this game, my aim wasn't necessarily to make a living off YouTube. It was really to be heard to a certain degree. You feel me? And like I said, it's therapeutic. It's a way to vent and talk to whoever would listen. This is one thing I wanted to talk about. When you're in a space like YouTube or social media, it's very public. It's very public. So if you're somebody like me that's not necessarily open to the idea of sharing personal experiences, then this might not be for you. So recently I thought about taking time to get a little in depth and give a little bit of more, other than what the works that I'm doing out for the community and my profession and all that. Just give a little, view into my life. So I have 6 children from 2 different women. I've never abandoned any woman, so I gotta say that. I wasn't no playboy out here just dumping seed recklessly. I was with my first partner for quite a while, since we was like teenagers, and things didn't work out, and that's just me being respectful. So that's my first set of children, my first 4. And all this is going somewhere. I would hear black men all the time, and maybe this is true once upon a time, but all the time black men would say around me, and it's in the large part of the black community, that black men can't get their children. Black men can't win in court versus the baby mama. No matter what situation she got going on, you got going on, the court sides with the women. And traditionally, we could argue that's kind of the truth, right? But I notice a pattern. A lot of these guys that say they can't see their children, and whatever the situation was with that woman, they would always blame the woman for not seeing the children. But I notice a pattern where us, the listeners, hearing these guys and their plights and what they're complaining about, whatever, we never hold them to the fire, right? And what I mean is, we never ask real questions, if you care. Because maybe some of y'all don't care and you hear this stuff and it happens so frequently in the black community, we kind of block it out, right? It could be a co-worker, family member, friend, associate. You're like, oh man, this brother about to talk about his BM again. He can't see his kids. I ain't really trying to hear this. And maybe you yourself are in the same situation, and the last thing you trying to hear is some nigga trying to trauma bond with you about not being able to see your kids. But we never hold them to the fire and ask important questions. And those questions come to this point. What are you doing to see them? Because I'm living proof, ladies and gentlemen, that, and this might sound hard because I love my black brothers, oh my God, I keep getting interrupted with phone calls. My apologies. I'm building up a studio so I could do this more respectfully, because I'm not into making videos on the phone all the time. But yeah, I'm living proof, ladies and gentlemen, that things have changed. It's not leaning in favor of the women all the time anymore when it comes to children. And going back to me sharing a little bit of details with my life, my children's mother, my first 4, that is, things ain't work out. But I will say this, I've been in all 6 of my children's lives from the time they were born. I was in that room, cut the cord, all of that. And not only been there for my children, I've been there for their mothers. And in this case, we're talking about my first baby mama. And I've been there for her, right? Basically helped raise her. If you ask me, her father wasn't in her life, so already I knew that was a generational curse I took on. You know, my father was in my life. He wasn't the most perfect man, but he was there, and he made sure he provided that nucleus that I think the black community is missing personally. But I took care of my BM. You know, I took care of her, did everything for her. when it came to trying to sustain a family and what goes into that, we had certain differences. And could I have checked out early? Yeah, but I wanted to be a everyday dad, right? I didn't want to be a father that only get visitations, see my children, so on and so on. I wanted to have a unique influence that nobody can break or touch. So I went through it. And to her credit, she was going through it with me, meaning like, we gonna thug it out. But sometimes the writing is on the wall. It just is what it is. The writings just be on the wall, y'all. It is what it is. And we decided, or more like she decided, because I checked out mentally. So she decided to keep it moving. She didn't see the worth in doing this family thing. I could keep it real with y'all. Again, this is me being vulnerable. I ain't open to discussing my personal life, but you know, when you got influences, friends, and turmoil, it becomes a toxic situation. Some people say it's better to split. While I agree, when you have young children, I think it's better to do your best to find a common ground of peace. But she decided to skedaddle. Of course, I didn't really stop her. And I didn't expect her to try to leave and move to another state, by the way, y'all. And this is going somewhere. She wanted to take all my children, have me pay for her housing, her rent, her bills, and my children while she has full custody.
Now, I interrupted my video because I wanted to drop another video of this brother over here. And I just want to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, where this brother allegedly says he was doing what he had to do to go to court, right? And unfortunately, his daughter succumbed to her injuries because his baby mama and her no good, low down, dirty dog boyfriend beat that child to death. Now, as sad as it is, man, I just want you guys to look at this clip for a second.
Sierra Day and her live-in boyfriend, 26-year-old Deontay Lewis, are hauled into court to face a charge of aggravated murder for causing the death of Sierra Day's daughter, 4-year-old Anaya Day Garrett. The medical examiner says Anaya was beaten to death and was malnourished at the time of her death.
Satan, the devil, I cannot imagine to tell you why someone would hurt a child.
The child's father, Michael Garrett, says his daughter had been abused over and over again by her mother. He and other family members reported the abuse to Cuyahoga County Children and Family Services on a number of occasions. And at the time of Anaya's death, he was fighting for emergency custody.
Yeah, I did everything in my power to let them know, that I was a stand-up dad and that my daughter was being harmed and abused at home. And this was an emergency.
The anguish over losing his daughter and the anger of coming face-to-face with the two people accused of killing the child boil over. Michael Garrett says he is overwhelmed by the knowledge that no one was there to protect Anaya.
They did absolutely nothing to help my daughter in this situation, and now my daughter's dead.
A teacher at a daycare center.
Again, I reiterate, as sad as this is, man, I feel for the brother. He's crying. He's saying that he was doing his efforts, and unfortunately, allegedly, the court system failed him and the deceased child, the young girl. But there's another side of me, right, where the news didn't fill in on this story in terms of all of the, efforts that brother did to be in that child's life. This is a little bit of devil's advocate, because even if I don't know that man's full story, I will be honest and say there are brothers who do try, and for whatever reason, the courts do drop the ball. And I had to drop this video to show y'all that there is another side of the brothers that are actually putting in work, and the courts do not adhere to their request of wanting to be in their child's life or gaining full custody. Even in saying that, this is basically an exception. In most cases, a lot of black men be like, bump it. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to have to fight for a natural right to be in my child's life, and they go ghost. And all I'm saying is that's not an excuse, especially if you're out here telling everybody that want to listen to your story that your baby mama ain't ish and the world doesn't care about what you're going through, yet you're not making an effort to be in that child's life. There's a lot of that going on. So let's get back to my video that I dropped on my phone, because I do have a point and I hope you guys can listen through it all. Like, I really hope you guys bear patience and listen to all of it. Thank you for listening, by the way. I really appreciate all of you.
Now, I started this video saying I don't want to say nothing bad about my children's mother, but in the most respectful way, I'll say this. I knew for sure I did not want her to be the one influencing my children. If you're the type to read between lines, I said a lot just now. But I didn't want that woman to be the one influencing my children. I had 2 daughters with her and 2 sons with her. I didn't want her to influence my children. And when we split, I was thinking selfishly, right? I was like, the courts ain't gonna give me the right to have full custody. I'm starting over. Everything I built, I invested in this woman, our family. I felt like I took an L, straight up. But it ain't nothing for me to get back up and climb. So I was thinking selfishly of moving back to Jacksonville, because we live here in Broward County. I was thinking of moving back to Jacksonville and starting fresh. Because a hustler, once a hustler, always, bro, it don't leave you. You know how to rebuild. Sometimes you just got to break away from everybody, start fresh in the mind. But the more I thought about it, I would talk with this woman over and over, right? About what are our plans as far as co-parenting. And to me, it seems like she didn't have nothing figured out. She had another brother with her, meaning she had another person with her. And I'm sure, and here's the thing, and I'm not afraid to say this. I gotta be careful with this one. When me and my first baby mama split, not long after we split, she was with someone. But what she didn't know, my children already put me on game on certain things. And that's why it's important when you hear someone say, if you break up with someone and they have someone else fast, that person already been around, y'all. Now, I'm emotionally disciplined to not crash out. I would never call another dude about none of that shit. And thank God I've never really been that type of dude. Especially once you mentally check out, none of that stuff really bothers you. Now, we're human, so I'm not gonna pretend I'm this tough guy, that I'm so emotionless. A part of it affects you when you start to put 2 and 2 together. You start thinking about certain things. It starts bothering you, because especially when you're the one that's the breadwinner and you're taking care of this woman, you're like, well, damn, how long that shit been going on? But never mind. She had a partner with her, an old boy who turned out to be her new baby daddy, because she had her 5th child but he became her new baby daddy, but that's down the road. In the meantime, dude wanted to move to North Carolina. And I told her what that mean for me. I'm not gonna see my children or something. I gotta take plane trips, etc. So I was about to give everything up, y'all, thinking traditionally like most black men think. I was about to say, hey, go ahead, just take them. Never mind the fact I've been a day one father. I've been a football coach, real talk, while going to school, earning my degree, while working full time, doing everything that I feel like she didn't match with me. I'm the one that was going to all their games, their recitals, their school events, teacher stuff. Day one dad, bro. Don't want any awards for it. It's because I didn't get to have some of this stuff where my pops was going to our football games, or like my piano, I played the piano, our piano recitals, the little stuff you would do that matters more than money, than anything else. I was doing that. Also being a provider, right? Financially and protector. But all of this started playing in my head. Hold up, bro. You've been in their lives. It's not just about you. It's about the relationship your children have with you and your influence. So I would talk to a lot of my friends who are in these predicaments, and I noticed most of them who already gave up, right? They checked out of trying to, see their kids. They gave me some of the worst advice. That's where trauma bonding become bullshit. It don't help you. They wanted me to feel like how they felt. well, bro, just get ready to pay child support. You ain't gonna win in court. She gonna get the kids, all this stuff. Then I had another partner who went through the foster care system. He had twin children. Shout out to Project. I ain't gonna say his real name, but his nickname is Project. Shout out to him, man. I can count on my hands how many friends I have, and he's one of them. And he put me on game, man. He sat me down and told me everything he did to make the court pay attention to him as the ideal custodial parent. He took all the parenting classes he needed to take. He went to every hearing after, of course, petitioning the court to get custody. He fought and fought. Yeah, so like I was saying, my homeboy Project, he petitioned the court and did everything and told me what to do. Because it was so rare to see someone like him from the same hoods that we grew up in. I didn't see too many brothers, right, who are just like all of us, but he had full custody. Took his baby mama to court, showed the courts and the judge that he was the better fit parent. So I don't want to say better parent, but the ideal parent to have custodial rights. He did that, and that motivated me. I took all the parenting classes. I paid money for a lawyer. I could have complained and said I needed that bread, but this is about my kids, right? My children. I didn't think twice. I put money aside, got a lawyer just to help me out, even though I could have fought this in court myself, but I'm not the most savvy person, right? If you're like me, I don't know all the details about custody rights and all this stuff, so I got a lawyer. I went to every hearing. Even when my lawyer had some issues, I went to every hearing. I petitioned everything you could to make sure you was in your rightful place as a father to these children, right? I did everything I had to do. Long story short, I remember the judge saying, this woman here is so emotional. She would cry and make everything about sorrow, and you know what typical women do to feel like things will lean in their favor. The judge didn't notice that. I stood there firm, 10 toes on my square, because I knew even if things didn't work out in my favor, I did everything I had to do to show I was a day one father, and I was in a better position to lead my children where they needed to be led. So the first thing the judge noted is the mother's trying to go to North Carolina when my children are from Florida. So you're gonna uproot them from the only families they know, their friends, their school, their environment, their sports. So that was already a red flag that went against her. 2, she didn't really have real plans. 3, I don't mean to throw this out, but I got more respect for having my shit in order, my degrees, reputable people to speak on my behalf about my character, no matter what me and her went through, which we went through a lot, police involvement, all that stuff. I ain't got a lot of y'all, but my character to the world at large spoke volumes versus what just was going on with me and her. That my lawyer taught me how not to show too much emotions in court. Let the facts speak for itself. So when it was all said and done, the judge said, you know what, young man? I don't care if you lived in one bedroom and all your children slept on the same floor together, because that's how I grew up. She said, I see that you're in a better position and have been to have these children understand life better. You're there more emotionally for them. You're there for all their activities. You're there for their academic endeavors. She gave me custodial rights. The mom, of course, broke down in court. The judge wasn't trying to hear none of that. To this very day, I've always been in my children's lives. Now, I have a new woman and we have 2 more children. Knock on wood, our relationship will be just right. She respects me, I respect her, and you're supposed to learn from your previous situation so you can do better anyways. You're not supposed to keep moving on and on from one bad situation to another in the first place. Let's get that out of the way. But my thing is, all 6 of my children are in my life. And even if I didn't have custodial rights, I know by fighting for my rights, I would at least have visitation. And I say that to say this. A lot of black men, and I love you brothers, trust me. I ain't no black man that don't love his brother. I love you brothers. But it's time for all of us that are listening to a lot of these guys' trauma when it comes to visitation rights or being in your children's lives. We gotta start asking them when they tell us they baby mama ain't shit and they can't see their kids. We have to ask them what are they doing, because last time I checked, you live in a country that's a country of laws, bro. That's a country of laws. Even if you think traditionally the court favors the woman, I assure you there's no way they'll leave you out of the loop of not seeing your children if you're doing what you have to do. Go to every hearing. Petition the court, even if you have to, for paternity tests. Everything that you have to do, put money aside. Maybe you're not the most eloquent speaker or person that can articulate your position in this matter. Put money aside for a lawyer. But a lot of y'all don't want to do that for real. A lot of y'all think about the burden of fighting in court for what you think is your natural right, and I get it. But if you got to go through this fire to be a part of your child's life, what the hell is your excuse for not doing it? So I only made this video because it struck a nerve to me hearing another guy that I know talk about not being able to see his daughter and his son for the last 5 years. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? His baby mama moved to Indiana and that's it. You just give up. You don't petition nothing for nothing to see your children, to have an influence. And I get it. I get it. Some children are far gone from the wickedness of their mothers, right? The manipulation to hate their fathers. But man, if you're still in a position to have some type of influence in your children's lives, fight for that shit. No more excuses, bro. We're in a time where the court favors both parents in the child's life. And I work in child welfare. I'm telling you this. I promise you this. So if you happen to be a listener of somebody telling you their sorrow story of not seeing their children and how much they baby mama ain't shit, I promise you, if you hold them to the fire and ask some pivotal questions like what the hell they doing, watch how that whole narrative that they've been using for years and years to get sympathy, watch how that break down. They can't even tell you the last time they petitioned the court for anything, they filed anything, got a lawyer. They can't tell you shit other than my baby mama ain't shit. That's not good enough anymore, because we're in a position and a time where, look, man, these black boys and young black girls don't have a father figure, and it's nothing new. We've heard this time and time again. But what is being done about it to fix and rectify that situation? Not a lot. Complaining to your partner about how your baby mama ain't shit ain't gonna get you more time to see your child. You gotta fight, bro. Do I think you should fight for something that's naturally your right? I don't think so, but that's the circumstance we find ourselves in. If you really love that child and really think your influence is beneficial to that child, you'll do what you gotta do, bro. And too many times I hear you niggas talking about this and that, but you ain't telling me what I need to hear to let me know you a good father. You a father that will fight for his. All you do is complain, but you don't go to that court. Maybe modify your child support payments. Maybe do X, Y, Z to even get visitations for little man and little baby girl. You don't do that for real, because you got comfortable and pushing out a narrative that our women ain't shit. Even if y'all feel like that, and even if it's true we got a lot of black women that ain't shit, that's not the hill I'm dying on. Degrading my black women when I know I don't need to do that to get right or have an impact or presence in my child's life. While my first baby mama was downplaying me in court, talking shit about me, doing all that, I didn't say one bad word about her in court. All I did was show the judge how impactful my presence is to my children. How I've been a day one father. How I provided without wanting any awards, because I did my duty, my job. And that spoke volumes in that courtroom. So much so, the judge, no lie, even told me, young man, I don't even think you needed a lawyer. I don't even think you needed a lawyer. See, I didn't go look for the typical black man that had nothing but bad advice to give me about custody rights. I talked to my one partner that I saw him with his kids, and I asked important questions. I was humbled enough to say, bro, could you help me? I didn't give up. And a lot of you brothers need to keep that in mind. You checked out, and now you want the world to feel sorry for you because you don't know your kids. It should be no excuse in the United States of America in 2025 for you to be an upstanding brother, but yet somehow you have no rights to see your child. Something funny about that, something fishy about that. And I can't hang with no motherfucker that ain't pushing to be in his child's life. I can't. I'm sorry, I cannot. So that's me giving y'all some of my life. What say y'all in the comment section? This was Gravitating Away, being probably the most vulnerable I've ever been on my channel. And I would like to know y'all comments about this matter. Are black men at large, not all, but at large, making an excuse about not being able to see their children, when I know for sure we have a court system, yes, in the past has traditionally favored the woman, but laws have changed where they feel it's beneficial for both parties to be in their life. So all of that to say, do y'all feel like, for the most part, a lot of black men just ain't doing right by their kids and blaming the baby mama instead of fighting, whether right or wrong, fighting to see that child? I'ma holla at y'all.